Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. We are going to watch the pre-race press conference of the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Don't forget to like the video.
Welcome everybody to the drivers' press conference ahead of the FIA Formula One Las Vegas Grand Prix. Two groups coming your way as ever. Group number one, closest to me, Esteban Ocon, George Russell, and then Kevin Magnussen. Very warm welcome to you all. Esteban, let's start with you, and good to see you. Let's reflect back just a few weeks, first of all. Sensational result, both for you and the team at Interlagos. Would you say that is one of your best races in Formula One?
Thank you. Yeah, it's been. Can you hear me? Yeah, it's been a fun race, definitely. An unexpected one, that's for sure. Looking at our dry pace, that's not where we were at all. But when the rain came, it definitely opened up opportunities, and yeah, I mean, I felt good in those conditions. It reminded me a little bit of 2016, at the time where I was fighting for a point with the Manor. Yeah, we're leading the race for a while, which felt good, definitely. And yeah, I think it's been a very nice one because it spiced things up for our end of season. Now that we can be, fighting near the other teams, in the Constructor Championship, so it's going to be a big fight, which is a lot more entertaining for us, and yeah, it brings up fun and joy for all the people around the factory.
It probably won't be wet here in Las Vegas this weekend, but it will be cold. Does the performance in Brazil give you some hope coming into the weekend?
Well, I think, we need to keep foot to the ground. That's going to be very important. I don't think, we are going to be able to fight for podiums and almost wins, like Brazil. But last year here, we finished fourth, which was also a very strong race. But yeah, this year will be much more difficult with the car pace we have on the dry. So yeah, we need to do the best we can, take all the opportunities that there is, and hopefully it will be a positive one for us.
Now, you alluded to the battle in the Constructors' Championship. You're sitting in sixth at the moment. The battle for the rest of the season is partly with the team you're moving to next year. Just what's the mood in the camp? How confident is the team of retaining sixth?
I can only talk for myself here. I'm not very confident, to be fair, at the moment. Looking at our dry pace, we've improved recently. Getting some update to the car, it's been getting better. But as I said, it can flip completely from one side to another, having a decent results, and these races are usually when the opportunities arrive. So we need to be on top of that if something happens, to be able to score some points and close the season that way.
Esteban, thank you very much. Kevin, can I come to you now and start by talking about that battle in the Constructors' Championship? What's the mood at Haas? How confident are you guys?
Well, you can't be confident at all. We were not even thinking about Alpine really in that battle, and then suddenly they're ahead of us. So I think it's I think we feel like we're in a good place with the car, and recently we've kind of consistently been in the run for points. Now that Aston Martin are struggling, there's some actually some points available at each race. So yeah, it's exciting. I mean, we're now 3 teams for that P6, which for the teams mean a lot. It's whether you finish 8th or 6th, it's a big thing. And yeah, for a driver, of course, you don't really. It's not like something you put on your CV, but it just means so much for everyone that it's worth fighting for.
Can we talk about the performance of the car? Because the upgrade that the team brought to Austin seems to have transformed your season. What's changed?
I just think the upgrades that we've had this year have been, they've been good in all areas. It's just made the car slightly faster over one lap, a little bit easier to drive and better on the tires. It's just kind of given the car a bit of a broader window every time we put something on. So that's been a really good job from the team. It's been kind of the headline for this year, I think. In terms, if you look at what we've improved, the most is how we've been able to develop the car over through the season, whereas most other years, or basically all other years, we've not been able to do that. We've, I think had a good car to begin with, because when the whole team is kind of available over the winter, they've been doing a good job, but over the season, not so much. So that's really a big step forward to see the improvements we've been able to make.
Well, you say the car is easier to drive, but where has it come alive for you specifically?
I think it's obviously you put more downforce, you go quicker, but also I think when you make the car more predictable, that gives a lot of lap time too, and especially on the tires, it helps a lot when you're not. It's not as easy to overdrive the car when the window and the balance is more consistent. So that's just been a help and something it's been nice to see.
And Kevin, how hungry are you to get back in the car this weekend after missing Interlagos, your second miss in only 5 races?
Well, you make it sound like that's not a lot.
It is a lot. Sorry, it's a lot.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's been strange to. I've watched Formula One on television too much recently, and it's going to be nice to be back, hopefully, in the race.
Well, look, good luck this weekend. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the interruption, but I must do this for a little. If you don't want to listen my words, just skip my part and continue watching the video. I think it will be very interesting to follow Alpines and between Alpines and the Haas fight, let's say, for the 6th place. But I think Haas will win this fight, because the Alpine last all the season they were struggling. They had problems with the car, but on the other side, the Haas, their updates, their drivers, the car was performing better. I think that way it will be also in Las Vegas Grand Prix and on the other 2 races. I think they will finish front of the Alpines, and it will be very interesting to follow also the fight between McLarens and the Ferraris. Yeah, we are going to continue the video.
Kevin, George, let's come to you now. Brazil last time out seemed like a missed opportunity for you and Mercedes. What lessons were learned?
Yeah, it definitely felt like a missed opportunity. I think having reviewed the race, you recognise how quickly things can change, and we made the pit stop, which, with the perfect benefit of hindsight, that was incorrect. But had that virtual safety car stayed for 10 seconds longer or 15 seconds longer, it would have been absolutely the right thing to do. So it just shows how quickly an external decision can change your race, and how you need to be very quick to adapt to that. And we kind of were a little bit too focused on that pit stop, and not actually seeing that a car that was beached on the road was being pushed off and the VSC was ending.
And how much encouragement do you take from the pace of the car in Brazil? The front row start. I mean, you've had a stack of points finishes since the summer break, but how close are you to having a race-winning car again?
I mean, Brazil was definitely a bit of a one-off. I think when it rains, it presents opportunities. And, for ourselves, it was an opportunity. For everyone at Alpine, it was a huge opportunity, which they capitalized. And, I think we need to look back to the sprint qualifying and the sprint race for a bit of a fairer picture of where we are. And that was, behind the front 4 teams.
George, final one. When you look at this season as a whole, look at the races you've won, but look at also the frustrations as well, how will you review the season?
I think now we've done almost a full season, we totally understand why the car is so up and down. It has just such a narrow window, and when we can set the car up in a way that we exploit that window, we have a race-winning car. But when you go to different circuits and you have to change where you position the setup, we totally fall outside of our working window. So it's obviously frustrating when you know the car has that potential, but I think for everyone, you have these fluctuations in performance. We've done a good job to capitalize on races that we did have the pole positions when the car was capable of pole positions, and ultimately we just need to make a more consistent car over the course of 24 races.
All right. Thanks to all three of you. Let's now open this to the floor, to the broadcasters first. David, yeah.
David Croft, Sky Sports F1. George, to you, and with your GPDA hat on, please. In between the last race and this, the FIA have dispensed with the services of Niels Wittich, the race director. Is this something that the GPDA were aware of before it happened? Are you concerned that there are 3 races to go and we now have a new race director, especially coming in to a street race like Las Vegas, which we saw last year, can have a whole load of unforeseen problems?
Yeah, we definitely weren't aware. It was a bit of a surprise, I think, for everybody. And, it's a hell of a lot of pressure now onto the new race director, just 3 races left. So I think for us, often as drivers, we probably feel like we're the last to find out this sort of information, and when it's involves us kind of directly, it would be nice to sort of be kept in the loop and just have an understanding of what decisions are being made. So time will tell. I'm sure the new guy will handle the position just fine, but definitely not an easy race for a new race director.
Okay, thanks, George. Yep, next one.
Nelson Valkenburg, Viaplay. Also for George, but I'd love for you both to chime in as well. Last week, a pointed statement from the GPDA towards the FIA and especially towards the president. The tone seemed stronger than I expected. Does that reflect the mood in the field of drivers as well?
I mean, talking as a fellow driver as opposed to sort of my role with the GPDA, I think everybody felt with certain things that have happened over the course of this year that we wanted to sort of stand united. At the end of the day, we just want to be transparent with the FIA and have this dialogue that is happening. And I think the departure of Niels is also a prime example of not being a part of these conversations. And ultimately, we only, we want to work with the FIA to make the best for the sport that we all love. So, I think it's kind of us now putting the pressure back on them to work with us and work with everyone, including F1 as well, just to maximize this opportunity which Formula One is in at the moment, which is an amazing time to be a part of.
Kevin, anything you'd like to add, Esteban? All right, let's move on. Yep.
Yeah. Roland Rodriguez from DAZN Spain. A question to Kevin. This year is arriving to the end, and most probably you're not going to be next season in Formula One. Are you having a special feelings at this moment of the year?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's kind of for myself. I've been in this situation twice before, so it's kind of the third time that I feel like this is going to be the last race. So I just know that you never know, So it's kind of fine in a way. I don't really think about it. It's next year I'm not going to be Formula One. That's pretty clear, and I've learned over the years and with my experiences Formula One that every race you do, you just have to enjoy it, and well, as long as it lasts, enjoy it. So that's my plan.
Kevin, you and the team have been quoted as saying what you want to happen for 2025. Can you shed any light on what you might be doing with regards to Haas?
I don't know if I can't remember saying exactly that, but I think we have been clear that we want to work together in some capacity, and I think that's we are talking about how we could do that. Of course, it's a little bit, it's come from Ayao, and I'm open to hear what he is thinking and see if I can be helpful in any way.
All right, okay, let's move on. Next one, Any more from the broadcasters? If there's no more from the broadcasters, let's open this. Yes, one more. Yeah, Nelson.
Question for all three of you. The FIA launch, Formula One launch party for next year has been announced. Max has been quite vocal about his feelings of having another event he has to attend to. Is anybody else calling in sick for next year in the O2?
To be fair, as a fan of the sport, it was honestly a pain to be watching, every day, a new livery, and sometimes you are missing it because you are doing something else and you see it in different times. I think at least, we have one day where we see all the cars, which, as a fan of the sport, I'm excited, for that. Of course, it's one more.
Question to George. I think that the GPDA created an Instagram account to publish this letter. Is there going to be a different way of, was there a need to make things more public now from the GPDA side on creating this more public forum?
Yeah, well, I think times are changing, and it's the fans are a huge part of this sport, and I think just if we're talking about openness and transparency and including everybody in this for the greater good, then having it on a social media platform makes perfect sense.
David?
Sorry, George, GPDA public forum, this one. Did you and the GPDA think that the race director needed replacing?
I can only talk on behalf of myself here as opposed to any of the other drivers, but I think there's no secret that some were not happy with what was going on in terms of the decisions that were being made, but at the end of the day, I think if you work together with us, that we could have helped improve the matter. And I think, sometimes just hiring and firing is not the solution. You kind of need to work together to improve the problem. So let's see what this new sort of era is going to bring. But every time there is a change, you have to take one step back before you make the two steps forward.
Yeah, we have just watched the first part of the race press conference at the Las Vegas Grand Prix. It was interesting. It was good to hear them after a long time. After we had the 3-week off period, and also I'm sorry. I think we had a technical problem on that question for the car launch. They asked what he thinks about to have all the cars on one day, and Ocon was like, it's better to have all the cars are the one day than like we had on the last year and all the other years. We had like maybe not every day, but something like that. We had car launches, and also I believe that it will be better to watch them all in one day and saw all the teams, all the team cars. It will be interesting. We are at the last triple header. We have those 3 races. I think we will have to watch interesting fights, interesting races. The competition is on between McLaren and Ferraris. I'm not going to say also between Max Verstappen and Lando Norris, because I think that job is done, and Max Verstappen definitely will be the champion. Yes, guys, just don't forget to like the video, comment it, and subscribe to the channel. As I said, we will be posting the second part of the press conference and also the other media day interviews that we're talking the other drivers. See you on the other videos.